Hey guys, as most of you know, I have this off-road lawnmower here, and it's been a pain ever since I built it. I think it's just the Dynamark frame is junk. You know, it had a junk clutch from the beginning. You know, all the bushings and everything were junk. I should have chose a better tractor. I mean, it just shakes so much. Everything's so beat on it. And that's always had me thinking, because this 8 horsepower has nowhere near enough power to turn them tires with the gear ratio I have. So that always poses a problem. And with the shifter set up on it, it's easy to get caught in between gears and accidentally get from neutral to reverse when you're trying to stay in neutral. So it's got me thinking a lot. And I have all these tractors, and I do not have any that seem to suit me. I mean, the home light was great until I ground every gear so bad in the rear end it only has first. And my MTD has, the steering components were so worn out I couldn't even weld them to get the play out of them. So, the wheel horse is too old, and it's not what I wanted it for in the beginning. I'm saving it. And I found out that the welds I made broke, so it needs fixed. And now, once you see my video, which should be coming up soon after this, it'll be a slideshow of romp pictures. Now my Massey is having problems with the rear end. It doesn't want to be pushed around, but when it's like running, it's fine, except it still won't want to be pushed around in neutral. And sometimes it won't go into either fourth or reverse. If it goes into reverse, it won't go into fourth, and if it goes into fourth, it won't go into reverse. So to get it into one, you have to put it in reverse, move a little bit, and then get it in fourth, or put it in fourth and then get it in reverse after. So I don't want to harm anything any worse than it is. So it should be sitting. But I have this Cub, and I don't know what model Cub it is. Because for a while I've just been thinking about making it into an off-roader. Not like full all out, but I mean something that's gonna last and be good and strong, and yet light enough that it's not gonna sink down like the Massey does. So, I mean, if you just look at this thing, like this front end is so beefy, and I mean the tie rod's so beefy, everything's so beefy. Look at that frame. I mean, the only thing is the hood. It's like a fiberglass hood, and it's completely cracked. So I thought about making this into like a hybrid with like a Craftsman hood on it or something. The wiring on this is junk. I mean, you might as well just say there's no wiring, because it's half rigged up to make the governor stick wide open on this 7 horsepower Briggs, which I'm sure is probably very underpowered. So my thoughts were to take this 7 horsepower Briggs out, and come up here to this Craftsman, which I'm also thinking about stealing the hood from, and taking this 10 horsepower Briggs, which runs fine, and all the electronics out of this. I was planning on just taking it all, except for the bad battery, and putting it all in that Cub, as well as maybe the hood and front. I don't know, it might look stupid. And then, since all the Cub's tires are slashed, probably taking these Homelight front wheels, because they're narrow and they have some good knobs to turn better, and possibly finding a set of smaller tires for the mud mower, so that the gear ratio works better, and putting these back tires on there, except with a lot less air pressure to make them smaller, because I'm kicking it, and I mean I keep them pretty full, but you know, not too overinflated. But I just want to see what you guys think about this before I go and get into it. And let me lift it up and I'll show you the underneath. See, the Cub is heavy for a lawn tractor, but still light enough that it's considered a lawnmower. But if you see, it has a downshaft motor with a horizontal shaft rear end, which is an H pattern. And with the drain plugs, I would imagine that it is oil filled, which is better, and it just looks beefy. I mean, you got this tensioner right here. That's not the clutch, it's just a tensioner, which is great. I mean, your belt shouldn't be slipping. And then, I mean, all this is for, this pulley right here is for the motor deck, so disregard that. And the belt's off the main pulley. But right up in there is your clutch. I mean, you got all kinds of tensioners and everything. So, I mean, I would think that this would be a good thing. And I mean, look, that frame has to be, you know, at least an 1/8 inch thick. And just look at that cast front end. I mean, everything's so beefy. And it has a heavier steering setup. I mean, I just think that it'd be a great tractor to build. I mean, my visions are a pretty nice bumper in the front. You know, like kind of what Arnold, I think. I think it's 365. I'm not sure how to say it, or I don't remember the numbers. But I remember that he has a rear bar. It's like a mesh bar kind of on the back. Wasn't thinking about doing it as big as his, but something very similar. You know, comes out and around and back around with, you know, some square tubing and some mesh and some sides, you know, for holding like extra gas, you know, maybe a little cooler or something. But yeah, I would definitely build this. I just need some suggestions, I guess. But that hood definitely probably can't stay, because it's been patched a bunch of times with fiberglass, and I just don't see that holding up on the trail. Although, I don't know if I said it before, my dad doesn't like the idea of me using this Cub. He told me I couldn't, but I mean, I paid for it, I can pretty much do it. But he thinks that since it's a Cub, I should, of course, paint it up and get it running and sell it and let somebody put a deck on it. But I mean, I paid $70 for it. I can't see me getting much more because it's not like a very desirable Cub. So for that factor, I mean, let me know if you agree with me on that. But I don't know. I just want to share my thoughts with you, and hopefully some of you guys can give me some suggestions, you know, through the comments. And you know, if you like this idea, like it up, rate it, you know, let me know. And if you're not familiar with my channel, subscribe, and maybe you'll find some videos that interest you.